Hi folks, welcome to Schewe Library's video series on databases. In this video we're going to be working with a Gale database, and Gale is one of the companies that provides Schewe Library with a number of its databases, so it's a good candidate for a demonstration video. Now for those of you who might not be familiar with what a database is simply a collection of paid resources that typically wouldn't be available through Google. And databases are especially important in colleges and universities because oftentimes they contain scholarly or peer-reviewed articles, which is probably the most predominant information resource that you're going to use in your time as a student here. And oftentimes you'll only be able to find them through specialized databases. So to access our databases, you're going to go to Schewe Library's homepage at ic.edu/library, and you're going to click on the databases icon on our homepage. And this is going to take you to the complete listing of our databases. Now initially you can see we've got 129 databases, and if you just scroll down the list here, you'll find that they're organized alphabetically. So if you have a particular database that you're looking for, you can just go find it in that list, and you'll see below each of the databases there's a little description about what it is, so you can figure out if you'd like to use it. Another way to access our databases is through the subjects menu in the top left. And you can isolate all the databases that might be relevant to a particular subject. So in this case, for example, we've chosen education. But for now, let's go back to our main database page and we'll find a Gale database that we can use for this video. And the database I'm going to use is the Academic OneFile database, which is one of our more popular Gale databases and features material from a variety of different subjects. And you can find it right at the top of the frequently used databases list on the left-hand side of our databases page. Now, as you can see, just at the top there, we are in fact in the Academic OneFile database, and the company who provides it is Gale. Now this database doesn't look exactly like a Google search, but the idea is that you want to put one concept in each box. And we'll get to the reasons for why that might be in a little bit, but for now, let's just do a basic search, and we're going to search for something having to do with cancer medication or cancer medicine. Right off the bat, you can see we've almost got 50,000 academic journal articles which have been returned by this search, and that is certainly quite a high number of results. You can also see that we've got some magazines, some books, and again, an incredible number of newspaper articles having to do with cancer medicine. This is far too many results, so what we're going to do is click on the Revise Search button here, and we're going to go back to our search. Now, one thing I can do to get the number of my results smaller is instead of searching the words cancer and medicine all throughout an article, I can search for those words only in the title of the article. And what this is theoretically going to do is get me fewer but more relevant results. So let's see if that bears out. And if it does, we'll have a much more relevant and much more manageable search on our hands. And it looks like right now we've shaved 4/5 of our results off, which is fantastic. But we can do more. And the next step in any good database search is limiting or filtering your results. In the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that the Academic OneFile database has a number of limiters we can apply to our search. The one I just applied was for peer-reviewed journals, and that took all the results out of our search that weren't from academic peer-reviewed journals, which your professors often want you to get. The next limiter I'm going to use is a date limiter, and I'm going to say that I would only like results in the last 5 years. So let me just type that in, and we'll see how many fewer results we get as a result of using this. What we see now is we went down from about 50,000 results to 338 results, which is great. If we further wanted to revise our search, we could again go back, click on the Revise Search, and perhaps we could add in some additional terms to our search. So maybe I was interested in, for example, the economics of cancer medication or cancer medicines. And again, we could search that term either all throughout an article or just in the title. So that's something you can always do. I'm just going to go back to my original search here. With a good search in hand with some limiters or filters applied, you're now ready to actually look at the articles you're interested in. So maybe I like number 3 in the list here, so I'll have a click inside it. And what we find is right off the bat we're going to get some information about the article. So obviously the title is right there at the top. We can look at some of the authors who wrote it, the date when it was published, the journal or the magazine that it was published in this case it's the BMC Cancer magazine or journal, and we can also see some other information there. Now here's the actual article itself if we want to go down and have a look at it, and that's very well and good. Now, going up to the top, we have some additional options that we can look at. We can get a citation for this journal article, which is excellent. We could, of course, print it off. Now, this is an option I really like, the download option, because it allows us to see the article as it might look as it was originally published in its magazine or journal. So you'll see this is how the article ought to look, I suppose, quote unquote. And we go down, and you can see it looks a little different than the article that was just sort of natively in the Academic One file database. So I would suggest using the download feature if you want to get the article as it originally looks. There are some saving options here. You can save it to your Google Drive or your Microsoft account. You could also email it to yourself, which a lot of students do and they find very helpful. And you could, again, email the PDF so you get the original look of the article, which is nice. The last thing I'm going to note in this Academic One file database is the little Get link icon at the top. And in other databases, sometimes it's called a permalink or a stable URL, but usually it has a little chain as its icon. And what this guy is going to do is give us a URL or a link which is going to allow us to get back to this article. Now, normally if you were just bookmarking a web page or whatever, you wouldn't have to go through this. You would just go to the URL in your internet browser and use that. Unfortunately for databases, you do need to use the get link or the permalink or the stable URL. So this guy that I'm highlighting right there will not work. You need to use the get link. Other than using the get link, I'd say you should be good to go. So get it there and have a fun search.